go into the world of sports, please remember that we're here for you, and please don't go anywhere. Don't change the dial, don't change the station. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. Good morning and welcome again to Now Streaming Sports. Remember that this show is reaching you from the Advent Cable Network studio here in the capital city of Abuja. Please, we're here for you, like we said from the beginning, and you are welcome to join the conversation by calling the number showing on your screen, or equally sending in your comment via various social media handle. I won't be discussing sport alone this morning. I have with me in the studio my co-anchor for this morning sports edition, Godwin Ojiri. Godwin, good morning and welcome to sport.
Good morning, Ebuka. It's sport again, and like I've always said, is always an exciting time discussing sports here on ACNNTV. We discuss everything from the top to the bottom, and we give our viewers all they need to know in the world of sports.
From top to bottom in the world of sports. We also have in the studio Mr. Raphael Ojaokomo. Mr. Raphael Ojaokomo is a sports commentator. Mr. Raphael, good morning and welcome to sports this morning.
Morning. We are here again. Morning, we are here again to talk sport, especially I'm sure to dissect the new release and Super Eagles lists.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, Mr. Raphael, for joining us this morning. Especially joining us this morning is our first timer on the show, and she's joining us all the way from Ajegule. Her name is Happiness Imene, and she's the CEO of Gospel Football Gospel, and she's also a sports analyst. Miss Happiness, good morning and welcome to the sports this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me in the studio.
All right, thank you so much. And we will also be having one of our regulars, Dr. Izu Edesiri, join us again on this edition of Sports today. Before we start of the discussion this morning, let's take a look at the front page of the Punch Sports Extra. And the list story there says the Bontats, and it says introducing Chile's newest Eagles for Rwanda Zimbabwe World Cup qualifiers. All right, and that's on page 6 of the Punch Sports Extra. Above the masthead, we have the story on playing our 2026 World Cup priority. That's coming from Usime and is on page 6. Also on page 6, Desas unfazed by Eagles snub. Also on page 6 of the Punch Sports Extra. Page 7 has the story on Atlanta Rise Lukman Axin Prize. All right, the price for Lukman now don't increase. All right, so that's on page 7. Page 8 has a story on Gunners advance to quarterfinals in style. That's wonderful for them. Then page just below that, we have Villa 3, Brugge 0. Onyedika's exit ends Nigeria's UEFA Champions League quest. All right. Page 4 has a story on Reds ready £100 million for Dembele summer bid. All right, and page 5 has Saliba commits future to Arsenal. Also on page 4, we have the story on United gets Mount injury boost. That same page 4 has the story on Teta keen on Sunny. All right, that's on page 4 of the Punch Sports Extra. All right. So we also have a few other stories to discuss. This morning we have the new matches, the new features for UEFA Champions League, where we'll be having Real Madrid against Arsenal after last night's show, where we saw a few other persons said Real Madrid was giving a first-hand favor against Atletico Madrid and every other stories. But please, before we start discussing the foreign stories, it's will be wonderful if we look at the new 20-man list that the Eric Chile 23 man list of the Super Eagles coach Eric Chile gave after he had initially given us about 39 man list, and where we will now no longer see the likes of Ahmed Musa on the list, the likes of Ihanacho on the list. So let's discuss. What do you think? Earlier last week we said the provisional list was a teaser, and we're going to see the correct list. And now the correct list, the final list, is out. And we had earlier made notice of that he added just four home-based players to the 39-man list, and a review of the list shows that we have 3 goalkeepers in the person of Stanley Wabali, Amas, and Kayode invited, and we have William Ekon, Calvin Bassi, Bruno, Aina, Brights, and Ogbu as our defenders. We have midfielders Ndidi, Onyedika, Alex Iwobi, Aribo, Mustafa, and Yusuf invited as part of the midfielders, and then the forwarders we see the likes of the current African best, Lukman, Victor Osimhen, Tella, Moses, Umar, Victor Boniface, and Samuel Chukwueze, and Tolu. Looking at that list, one can imagine that the earlier list where we saw Ahmed Musa was to come in as a booster to the morale of the current players, having in mind that he's fully experienced. He had played over the years for such games. He had participated in very high platforms, and bringing him to the team will bring a boost to other players, or especially those who are coming in for the first time. But what do you think about this new list, the 23-man list?
First and foremost, I think a lot of backlash has hit the coach to the point that he has released a 23 that we should see. But if you still look at the 23, you begin to wonder what some players are doing there, why some players are not part of the team. Why do you have a lot of attackers when your back line is short? Because if you look at the defense line, you only have the 2 center backs there. Oh, sorry, rather 3. We only have William Trustekong, Calvin Bassi, and Igor Ogbu, who is going to be debuting for the very first time. So, God forbid, there's an injury case to either Bassi or Ekong. He will be playing his first game with one of the defenders he has never played with in the very crucial match. So why carry so many attackers when you can have one extra centre back to shore up the defense line? And then you want to ask yourself again, what's Sadiq Omar doing on the list? Sadiq has barely played I don't know how many games after moving from Sociedad to Valencia. Yes, he scored last week, and you're picking Sadiq over Ceredesas, who has the second highest scoring goals after Osimhen in this season. Do you understand me? You begin to ask yourself, what's the rationale with picking Sadiq over Ceredesas? What's the rationale with picking Chukwueze right now? So it's now not a case of who is fit, who has played more game time. What's the rationale between picking Joseph Aribo? Do you understand me? So you begin to wonder, is this everything that has to do in Nigeria boils down to prayers. Okay. We now start praying that they do well, when in essence you have left those who should be in the list, and then you start gathering prayer warriors. Look for those who are fit and can do this job, And then when they go on the field, they do the assignment for you, not you. Yeah, we all thought, okay, Ahmed Musa coming to the team was going to boost your morale and all. I didn't have any problem with Ahmed Musa coming to the team. We've had a lot of tournaments where we even went all the way to win the 94 squad. I think Keshi played only one game or thereabouts. All the other games he was on the bench throughout until the final game. Even the final game, it was only going to hand over the trophy that he came. Eguavon practically captained that team up to the final. Same thing applies to Joseph Yobo. Joseph Yobo, I think, played the first game or thereabout first game, and after which Omeru and Obabona entered the defense line, and we never saw Joseph Yobo again until the final game when I think it was scoring one goal and he needed to pack the bus. And then they brought in Joseph Yobo to just come and shore it up and finish everything. So sometimes you need those kind of people to be in your team to be able to give some moral support and what have you, and some experience. But then again, like I said, I've listed Aribo, I've listed Chikweze, I've listed Sadiq Omaro as people who are in this team who I don't think should be in this team. You want to have people who have been playing regular football, who are fit and are doing well. And luckily for the home base, I think we have 2 of them making the list out of 4. I see one Papa Daniel, and then the Remo Stars goalkeeper, who we all know is not going to, even if we are going to play 10 games, is not still going to enter that post. But then again, it's a way of encouraging the home front, the players in the home front. I say it here on this show every now and then. We have 2 assistant coaches, Fidelis Ilechukwu and the Remo Stars coach, who are supposed to be the eyes of the coach in the home front. But are you saying that these guys are not seeing enough, even though they play week in, week out, with some of these players in the home front? Because if you check all the time Nigeria has won the Nations Cup from 94 to 2013, we had a lot of home-based players. Let me come to the nearest of all of them, 2013. The guy who scored the winning goal for us, Sunday Umba, was playing in the home front. The guy who sent Joseph Yobo to the bench, Obabona, was playing from the home front. We had Ejike Zwenyi playing from the home front. We had Ruben Gabriel. There were about 6 of them who made that list and went all the way to win the Nations Cup. So it's not about delving our head into these foreign-based players. And then we also have some players who are going to be playing for the very first time. Tolu Arokodare, who plays for Genk. We also have Obu, who is also coming from Sparta Prague, if I'm not mistaken, who is going to be playing for the very first time. So we just pray, like I said, we're always praying. We just pray that this list gives us the results. At the end of the day, it's the result that matters.
All right. So at the end of the day, it's the result that matters. We will now come to the point where we'll start
pressing calculator
and say if these people draw and these people lose and these people do not show up for the match, we're able to qualify. Happiness, let's hear your view concerning the 23-man list Eric Chile has published or has made open. And what do you think? What do you see, or what formation do you foresee Eric Chile playing with this list of players on his team list?
Well, let me talk for Sarafe, because while he was talking, I was just nodding my head from his end because he actually spoke my mind. Yes. Immediately just hit the point of 2013 when Sunday Uba scored the winning goal. Yes, when we won the AFCON last. You just said, those times, those days, I call them those days, we have more of people who play from the home. So my question when he was talking and it's that point, I was already asking, does that mean that when we get coaches, they don't go back to watch our leagues and they don't watch international leagues to also know who to pick and who to bring in? Because if you watch international league, you will know how the Nigeria players are playing and who is fit for your style of play. So let me still say, I'm giving the coach benefit of that he picked these people because they will fit in for his own style of play. That's why he went ahead picking 8 strikers, 6 defenders, 6 midfielders, and then the 3 defenders. So I don't know if he wants to play 2 men in front, because he's picking 8 strikers. He wants to play 2 strikers in front, then 4 defenders, and then midfielder. I don't know if he wants to play 4-2, okay, 4-3-2. If that's what he wants to play, 4-3-2, then the keeper and all that. Because if he's having more forward here, and we need defenders like Mr. Raphael said, you cannot be giving us 6 defenders and 4 and 8 strikers. See, your midfielder can even strike. Your attacking midfielder can strike. Yes, because if we are talking about that, check Guardiola years ago before the coming of Ireland. Yeah, Man City was not having that striker, but they were winning. They were winning the leagues. They won the leagues. So if you're having more striker and then your defender, what if something happened to your defender and you are having just 6, something happened to your defenders, and then you bring 4 defenders out of the 6 you are having, and maybe they give 1 red card. You can't tell what will happen. And like I said, we don't have to pray every time in Nigeria team. Every time we are praying, every time we are carrying calculator, every time we are praying, we are calculating, pressing calculator like mathematician. For once, Nigeria should have a good team and a good formation that will take us to the next stage.
All right, thank you, Godwin. You see here, there are 6 defenders, right?
Yeah.
8 midfielders, 8 strikers and 3 goalkeepers. So, do you think how many midfielders will have 6 also? 6 midfielders also,
Yeah.
6 defenders, 6 midfielders, and 8 attackers. Do you think? Are you foreseeing an attack style of play from Chile? Do you see him play 3 defenders, 4 3 midfielders and 4 strikers?
I think before we allow Raf to give us his own concrete opinion on that, I'm saying a 3-3-4 formation.
That's what I'm saying now. 3-3-4, 3 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 4 attackers.
You must be very joking.
Sincerely, I am seeing that playing out here because it is clear. We are trying to.
He's going to play 3-5-2.
However, I think he has given us a list, and surely he's not going to bring out those formations for now. But just as Raf have said earlier, we are still making our permutation as to, God forbid, like he said, if any of our defenders is to sustain
center
injury.
back, especially.
So it clearly shows that he will be focusing more on the forward. So we're playing attacking football here. Because when you look at it, so much of our defenders would not be playing the full stretch because the best he will use is just 3 men. So that's why I'm saying, basically, he might use a 3-3-4 formation to give us
They
what.
should not make God
what
our coach.
No, but all the analysis here is just based on what he's giving.
Yeah, the number of players we have on the team.
Before we ask you for the kind of solid formation you think.
Or do you think he's going to play most of the midfielders going to play defensive midfielding, like Didi coming to help from the mid?
I don't even know why that one is in the team. I'm sorry to say, but okay. I think there was a time Nigeria played Angola. That should be 2010, if I'm not mistaken, or earlier, and we had 8 attackers on the field. Okay. I'm not even giving you Kokambu's story. A lot of them were converted to midfielders.
Okay.
And I've also watched I think Beijing Olympic 2008. If you watch most of the formation that was played, we had 2 main strikers. In fact, the formation was, when they're going forward, it becomes 4. Okay. When they're coming back, 2 of them fall back into the midfield.
Okay.
So we had people like Chinedu Ogbuke, Victor Obin and Sofo, sometimes Anichebe on the field, or Koronko on the field. So when you're going forward, it's attacking. When you're coming back, then you want to also have, like Happiness rightfully said, maybe he has picked the players that fit into his style of play. Do you understand? It's one thing for you to want players to attack for you. Are those players also defensive minded? When you have someone like a Martinelli on the field, even Jesus, sometimes you see them at your own defense trying to help at the back. Why there's some players where when the ball leaves where they are in front, you don't see them anymore. Do you understand me? And that's one of the things that a lot of us didn't see Iwobi doing at the Nations Cup. We just wanted Iwobi to be the skillful player, whereas what he was asked to do was be more of a defensive midfielder, so it was more of behind than going forward. Then coming to the formation, from what I'm seeing, I'm not the coach, but I'm just going to pretend and put myself in his position right now. I'm seeing a, if the person wants to be, okay, I'm talking about myself right now. Because what we have right now, we have 3 centre backs, and I don't think you want to play the 3 of them
At the
same time. So that's why I said you can't play a 3-5-2. Because if you're playing a 3-5-2, it means you're using your 3 centre backs, and that's why I'm wondering why this man will only invite 3 centre backs to this tournament. And you have home-based players who are good. Nigerian League, one of the strongest part of their their squad is always the defense line, because somehow they know how to want to keep clean sheets and what have you. And then we have good defenders back home. Why they didn't invite them, I do not know. So you want to have a 4-4-2 when you have tried and tested defenders like Calvin Bassey and William Trustekong in the middle, Olaino and Onyemechi playing both right and left. Because Olaino is one of the best right back now in the world, whether you like it or not. Playing right and left. Then in your midfield, either I want to play 4-3-3 or 4-4-2. Now, when you're playing 4-4-2, that means you're using your wingers, which you have invited, in the person of Ademola Lookman and Chikwueze to your right and to your left, Ndidi and Iwobi in the middle. Then, of course, 2 attackers in front, 4-4-2. So we want to be having someone like Anusime and Aroko Dare in front, doing the job for you.
All right, Raf, just to come in here, I just want to ask a very hard question that often might be overlooked here. Given the fact that Eric Chile just came in, no doubt, he has watched we've played at opposing side before.
Yeah.
The belief here is that he understands some of this player, but it's a different ball game where he is the national coach of the team, and given the politics that always plays out in the NFF when it comes to player selection, do you not see all of this playing at this time?
If you ask me, I'll say yes. You are very, very correct, because I asked the first question: what is Sadiq Omar doing in that squad?
Okay.
Sadiq Omar couldn't play for Sociedad, and for a good number of period he was out injured. And even when he came back, he couldn't make it into the squad, and thus was sent on loan to Valencia. And even when he was sent on loan to Valencia, I don't think he plays week in, week out. Yes, like I said, just the week that passed, now he scored. Do you understand me? But would you pick a Sadiq Umar over Cyril Dessers, who scores week in, week out?
Okay.
Who has been playing week in, week out? Do you understand me? Now, you have wingers in that team. I mentioned Chico is quite alright. But you have a Moses Simon who plays in, week out. But you might be shocked that when they want to give you your formation now, you see Chico is starting. So you begin to ask question, whose interest are these people trying to cover? Because if it's for getting the best of the best, because one thing we have learned about football, any part of your team that is weak, your opponent will expose it. So you are very correct when you said, do I see, I mentioned it in one of my posts on X. I said, this is not a place where you display, federal character, where you're trying to cover every region. I looked at the 1994 squad, and I was looking at where everybody from that squad came from. And you and I would look at it and agree together and say, this is not even about where you are from or whatever, because at the end of the day, we got the result because nobody was concerned about if this person is Yoruba, if this person is Igbo. I'm looking at the list and I'm seeing a Rufai, Agbonibare, Agu, Iroha, Uche, Keshe, Menalo, Okafo. In fact, if you look at the list, you will notice that they have more of those guys from the southeast and then south. The only two people from the west here are Rashidi Yekini and of course Mutu Adepoju. I didn't see anybody from the north in this place, but did you get the results? Yes, we did. So this is not a place, and I know I brought it up last time here when we were playing at the qualifiers. We're doing very well until somebody came. I don't know who was the NFF president, then came and said that they've not gone to the north to play. This is not a thing for you to be carrying around. And then they took it to Kano, and that was when we went to go and draw with Angola. And there was no need again, because the last 2 games we played, Nigeria won 5-0, 5-0. There was no point again because we drew. When we would have used our fortress to deliver the goods and go to the 2006 World Cup, we decided to be sharing it up and down. So until they learn to choose players who are right for the team. We'll keep doing all this XYZ. The last time Sadiq was invited, he just came back from injury and they brought him into the team. And when they asked Eguavon then, why are you picking Sadiq? He says calling him because of experience. What kind of experience does Sadiq have that he's bringing to the team? And mind you, we played those 2 games and Sadiq did not play. So what experience did you bring him for? It just shows you that there's somebody that is interested in making sure Sadiq is in that team.
All right.
All right,
Sorry, Buka.
All right.
Where then does this leave our national team when it comes to our face-off between Rwanda and Zimbabwe?
Now, when it comes to this team, what's it called? It's a do or die affair.
Okay.
You know, people don't like to want to say it's Rwanda and Zimbabwe again. Mind you, we just played Rwanda and they beat us at home by 2-1.
Okay.
And Nigeria has never beaten Rwanda in Rwanda. We have never beaten Rwanda in Rwanda. That's to tell you that what we are about to go into is a do or die. The last time we played Rwanda in Rwanda, it was, what's it called? It was a draw. There were some calls that the referee called. Lukman's goal was not offside. Somehow they blew offside. Nobody questioned it. And then, of course, their goalkeeper decided to be the best for that day. And we ended up playing a goalless draw. Remember also Zimbabwe, we played in Zimbabwe, that we had the Anuzoho in the goalpost. When everybody had been complaining, leave Uzoho alone, get us a good goalkeeper. And they brought Uzoho. That the guy played a free kick from almost half of the pitch and he entered. We played a 1-1 draw with a Zimbabwe team that if you pick a good team, even from the home front, we'll get a good result. So now what we are going to face now is a make or ma game against Rwanda.
All right, so we'll leave Chile to make his decision ahead of our match against Zimbabwe in Godswill Akpabio's stadium in Uyo on the 21st of March. Now let's look at these young lads. They've been doing very beautiful. They went to Pretoria on Sunday and they defeated South Africa 3-1. The under 17 what was it called?
Flamingos.
Flamingos of they are ready. They are equally ready. And
Don't fail to mention wonderful goals.
Those 3 wonderful goals. They won 3-1 against South Africa in Pretoria. And the South African teams have arrived in Nigeria. They are, as at yesterday, they've arrived in Nigeria for the second leg of the qualifying matches to scheduled to be played this weekend. So let's have okay. Let me not ask Raphael. Now let me ask Happiness. Happiness, you are a female. Now we see the likes of Harmony.
The way you said it, Happiness, you are a female.
We see the likes of Chidi Harmony. When I saw that young girl in the National Stadium a couple of months ago, and I see a star. I see another Rashidi. I see another Oshola in her, because she's full of the good spirit, of good vibe to net in goals. So let's have your review of the performance of these young lads at their last game, and now what do you foresee? Do you think that it will be a repetition of what happened last Saturday, or would our girls fall down on our own soil?
I don't think our girls will fall down on our own soil. Yes, I don't believe that, because when we are talking about the Nigeria football team, the Flamingos have always stand out. And besides, Nigeria girls they already has history in African. Yes, I know the South African girls are coming up now and are becoming a serious threat in the football. But then the Nigeria girls has to prove themselves in their home. They won last week and they will win again this week. They are not going to fall back.
All right, thank you so much, Happiness. And let's welcome Dr. Edesiri Izu. Doctor, good morning and welcome to the show this morning. Please, we've been discussing the 23-man list of the Super Eagles that has been published by our head coach, Eric Chile, and we've just looked at the performance of our Flamingos beating South Africa 3-1 last Sunday at Pretoria, and their match for this weekend. So let's have your overview, just a couple of just maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and let's see what do you think about the performances of these girls in line with what we've been seeing so far at our Super Eagles performances.
Sorry for joining a bit behind time because due to the intensity of work, I apologize.
All right.
That said, like we said, I think it was last week or the last time I was on the show when we had a 49-man, big 49-man list, and we said it was bloated or necessary, and he just raised the hope of people only to then dash it. So now he has dashed the hope of 16 people like he predicted. But there are still some people who I think have no business being on that list. Thankfully, you removed the likes of Maduka Kunu and some others. But there are still some guys that I still find funny being on that list. Hassan Yusuf, Victor Boniface. Yeah, for me, don't forget he has been on the bench for quite some time, particularly at Bayer Leverkusen. So on what basis was he invited? We also have somebody like Umar Sadiq, who was not having game playing time in West Sociedad and was recently loaned to Valencia, who are in a wrestling contest with relegation. So if the list was to be picked on meritocracy, then I don't think such caliber of people should be on the list. People the likes of Bruno Yemichi, these are not people who are lighting it up in their club. So I think there's still maybe the coach Lukushi face to we'll pardon him because it's first time, but I think we should entrench meritocracy like it does not become not picking based on previous experience or past glory. So I don't end up like Samson who just said I'll go out like before, and we know how it happened. As for the Flamingos, we are wishing them well. You know, they say what a man can do, a woman can do better, and the women have been the ones giving up. When our Super Eagles didn't qualify for Nations Cup for years, or we are going out, being knocked out early, our women have been the ones giving us some joy. So we're also hoping that they will not backslide too far behind, and they will also do what they've been doing and fly like the Flamingos that they are. So I wish them the best of luck and hope that they will not be distracted, considering the fact that the gap between Nigeria and other countries is closing. In the past, anytime Nigeria has played anybody, it's already 8-0 until proven otherwise. But nowadays, with the hustle, struggle by strength that are prevailing. So let us try this time so that we will make it as effortless as possible and not by huffing and puffing. But we wish them the best of luck. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Izu. So now let's move away from Nigerian story and let's go to the continent where we yesterday, Wednesday, the CAF had their Congress, and there was a re-election for another 4 years of Patrick Motsepe as the CAF president for another 4 years, and we see the likes of Samuel Eto'o and a few others elected to be at the FIFA Council, and our own Amadou Picnic was not. He lost by just one vote. Yeah, if he had gotten like 2 persons extra, he would have qualified. But for the past 26 years, he will be out of position for a couple of years, and let's see if he will bounce back. But he's saying that he's not down, he's not going to be pulled off by what transpired yesterday at the election, that he's going to bounce back, he's ready. He also sent appreciation to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Natural Sports Commission, and the NFF president for their support so far given to him. So let's a quick one, Mr. Raphael. What do you think about the what happened at the Congress?
What happened? I was not there.
I'm not saying you were there. But your review of
but of course
of how Amadou Picnic took the whole thing.
It's an election, but of course he has to take it that way. Now will he go and fight them or enter into the office by force? The election has taken place, and those that beat him to it, like we rightfully said, was just by a point. Do you understand me? and it's not like he didn't get a good fight for the sport. He did get a good fight for the sport. It just means that he needs to do, maybe he didn't do some homework very well.
Yeah, and if you look at the other, it says the normal lineup is the CAF president and 6 others to represent the confederation at the FIFA seat. If you look at the other 6 persons that got higher votes than him, they are all sitting federation presidents. Yeah, with Eto, and the guy from Mauritania, they are all their FA presidents.
Yes.
So if Amaju is not,
are you saying it's because he's not?
No, I'm just
Nigeria's FA president.
Pointing that out. So
Amaju has been in the CAF front for a number of years, and I think he has the experience to be in that place. And I think FIFA, if I'm not mistaken, also. But like I rightfully said, maybe he had not done his assignment very well. And of course, the result is what we see today. It's just for him to go back. He has, of course, said he's taking it the normal way that he should take it as a sportman that he is. It's just for him to go back, look at what he didn't put in place well, and see. I don't know how many years that body stays for.
4 years.
4 years. So he waits for 4 years to not be in Papa house. He waits for another 4 years to go and recoup, to come back and hopefully get better and get into the office with better votes.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. So, Dr. Izu, let's come to you, and we'll be moving away from African spheres and now go to the Europa Champions League that we saw yesterday and on Wednesday night, on Tuesday night. We saw the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Barcelona, the likes of Dortmund, and the likes of Real Madrid and PSG moving on to the next phase in the Champions League. So let's have your quick review of the matches played on Tuesday and the matches played yesterday night on Wednesday. Dr. Izu, over to you.
Wow. Like they always say, at this stage, you start separating the men from the boys and the wheat from the chaff. As for me, I don't think there were any surprises, but it was really intense. The matches that stood out for me were basically, of course, yesterday's one was not a match, it was a war between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. Of course, for obvious reasons, the Madrid derby, it's a, you know how Diego Simeone plays, the pantomime line, it makes it look like, oh, what is this thing? So, I feel themselves like the underdog, but they gave a very, very, very good fight. In fact, for once, we almost became like Arsenal. Inshallah, FC got there for God, and but God really helped us yesterday, and we won. And having suffered, it's time for us to relax in the next leg because people did our daily bread because we know who we are playing next. That's our daily bread. So I already see Real Madrid in semi-final. Liverpool PSG was tighter than I expected, and I must give credit to PSG, particularly Luis Enrique, for the great work he has done. If you understand the transformation that PSG has undergone, you will appreciate the work he has done better. Imagine a front line that had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, and suddenly the only high-class player they have in that attack is Dembele. And then now they brought Caracella, whatever it is, from Napoli. So now you have young boys like Bakola. So imagine somebody who was shopping in ShopRite, suddenly now going to Yabasira to go and buy him. But the man didn't complain, didn't refuse, he didn't, just sat down quiet. It is some coaches that you are telling Mbappe left, I'm telling him in the criminal circumstances within which he left. That would be an excuse for failure, like a club in North London that wears red. They already just say yes, that's you not gonna say they sell Mbappe, you not gonna say they sell him. But see how the man quietly is doing his thing, and they even didn't start well. They have to go to the playoffs and play the incoming champions of England. But over 2 legs, they held their heads high. I'm surprised. For Liverpool, well, it's disappointing that they left so early. But again, it shows that it's not underrate anybody, and I'm disappointed that Salah didn't come on. For Liverpool, they were guilty of over-dependence on Salah. So once Salah was predictably marked out by Nuno Mendes. There was nobody on the other flank. Luis Diaz, his own is just to fight. But it gets to a point where force will not help you. You need skill, you need tact, and there was no other person. Down Unit, of course, it's only all about chaos. But chaos really helped in this time. But the biggest disappointment for me was Leverkusen. Leverkusen over the last 2 years, since Alonso was appointed, had never lost to Bayern Munich. And so everybody was hoping that this time, maybe they will even give a fight. But imagine beating home and away 3-0, 2-0, for a club that you have been playing regularly at least 3 times or 4 times a year. So if you want to know their style of play, and they didn't want to score a goal. So that was the biggest disappointment for me in this leg. Even PSV that disgraced 7-1, they found a way to draw, though against a very wicked Arsenal team, but they still pulled out a credible 2-2 draw. So it just shows that football, your history will not save you. Another thing that I want to point out, if you look at the 8 teams that are out now, 4 finished in the top 8. 4 finished outside the top 8. So it just goes to show that football is not a respecter of pedigree or CV. You understand? In the top 8, clubs that finished in the top 8 and didn't go to playoffs, 4 of them have been knocked out, like Atletico Madrid, like Liverpool, like Leverkusen, those who rushed to finish in the top 8. But you can see clubs who didn't finish in the top 8, like Bayern Munich, like PSG, and 2 others. They are also representing. So you must never rest on your oars. And I'm already excitedly looking up to the next round. And the ties are also quite evenly matched out. Apart from PSG versus Aston Villa that are not, and then Arsenal versus Real Madrid. The rest are neither here nor there. You really can't stick out your neck and say that Bayern will trash Inter Milan. But for the 2 I called, their results are almost clear. You can tell that Real Madrid will destroy Arsenal. And then
After saying don't underrate any team. I
told you before now. But in summary, it was a good outing, and I must commend the UEFA for this new format. If you look at the caliber of matches, see Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, PSG, Liverpool. Those are normally matches you see in the quarterfinal or semi-final or even final. Now we are seeing them out of this second round, and play. So it makes it very exciting. Unlike before, where one big team will be playing maybe Basel and win them 8-0, one player will score 4 goals and say he's creating record. Now come and play your mates. That's where we are now. And I must commend them for this new format. It shows that we must always look for ways to reinvent the wheel. And that's why, when Amadi Philip was there, I was going to comment on that. We must ask ourselves, what innovation did he bring during his time, both as NFL chairman, both his time in CAF? What new things did he bring? Look at what Gianni Infantino is doing now. He has reduced the World Cup from 32 teams to 48. See what the man in UEFA is doing. Look at how they twisted when the Super League were going to form their own Super League. So we can do something. And they reduced it. See where we are now. So we should always, as leaders, not rest on our oars, not just sit down and say, as it was in the beginning, it's now and never shall be. Even Anglicans don't have say we're not Anglican. So we always look for new ways to do things and get better results. So all the same, I had fun, and it was good that the game. Imagine we had 2 games go to penalty shootouts in 2 consecutive days.
Yes.
We also have some that went to extra time but didn't get to correct. So that shows how fierce the competition is, and it shows that this new format is working well. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. So before we leave you, Dr. Izu, let's in a couple of days from now, we'll get into the first leg of the quarterfinal. So let's hear what's your prediction. What do you see the futures ending like at the end of April 9? Who do you think will be cheering the most, or who do you think will be making the loudest noise? We have the likes of Bayern against Inter, we have Barca against Dortmund, we have Arsenal against Real Madrid, and we have PSG against Aston Villa. Remember, like we earlier thought, so we were thinking we'll have more English teams, but now we just have two English teams, two Spanish teams, two German teams, and one French team. So, what do you think? What's your pick? What are your picks? All right. Let's. Okay. I think we lost Dr. Izu there, but let's come to you. Happiness. I believe you watched a few of the matches, or if not, you have reports on every of the matches played at the UEFA Champions League day before yesterday and yesterday. And some people are saying that there's a controversy that will erupt. It's expected to erupt from the match between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. Let's hear your view concerning that match. What's your review on that match?
Yes. Um, Concerning the controversy, okay, first of all, Diego Simone said he has never seen the VAR actually calling off to review a penalty. That's what the Atletico Madrid coach said. And then, even I myself, I had to wake up this morning to check Alvarez penalty. Now, Alvarez himself said he did not actually feel a touch before he hit the ball. If you watch the match yesterday, you see that after Alvarez penalty, it was not the play of that penalty, and then it was called off. So it is really a controversial state now. I cannot say I'm here, not there, because they said it was a double kick, and in the football, you don't have a double kick when you're having a penalty. But what I'm actually seeing was, for me, is not actually a double kick. Because if you get to the picture of Alvarez when he played the penalty, it was as if he was going to fall, and then after kicking the penalty, he slides together with the ball. The ball was already inside the post, and then it fell off. But then, looking at, when I was having a close look today, some pictures and all that, it was like the left leg has already touched the ball. That was where they are calling as, they are picking as the double kick before the ball actually entered the distance. So it's actually a controversial issue currently. But then I will still say it. Atletico Madrid has never, ever beaten Real Madrid in Champions League. There's always this controversial issues between these two teams when it comes to Champions League. Even for the fact that they're in the same league, La Liga. But when it comes to Champions League, there is always this controversial issue. But for yesterday, if you ask me if that penalty was supposed to be cancelled, I will say no. For me, I will say no.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we leave you, can you give us your predictions? What are your predictions for the quarterfinal first leg of the UEFA Champions League?
Okay, my prediction. I was discussing already this morning with somebody about this football. At this stage, this quarterfinal stage, I'll say all the 8 clubs are already on fire, because one thing about Champions League, I know, because I've been following Champions League, one thing I know about Champions League, there is a stage where clubs get to, even if that club is not doing well in their league or in Champions League, they tend to perform very well. There is this motivation, because I can remember Chelsea 2021. Chelsea was not even carrying the league in EPL, but they won the league, the Champions League. And there are so many, Real Madrid, they have done that in and out. So for me, of course, PSG is way higher than Aston Villa. Aston Villa currently in the league is their in 8th position with 45 I think 45 points. Yes, they are in 8th position. 45. So PSG to Aston Villa. If I want to use my sites, yes, but this week I want to use my sites. Of course, PSG is going to win Aston Villa in the first leg. So I will give PSG 60% and I will give Aston Villa 40%. So let me say it's going to be 2-1. But goals are going to come. Okay, let me just make it 3. 3 from PSG. 3 from PSG, 1 for Aston Villa. Then for Arsenal, Madrid, let me leave that one aside. I want to leave that one aside. Let me go to Barcelona. Barcelona, Dortmund. Yes, I'm a Barca fan. And we have played Dortmund also in this season. Yes, we have. But then, Barca Dortmund is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. But then, Barca has standing stars that can come in, and then the match is just being to their favor because they are good. Barca has been consistent in this Champions League. They have been consistent after they lost their first match due to red card. They have been consistent. So Barca Dortmund is still 60-40 for me. So Barca is going with 3 goals. Dortmund, Barca is going with 4 goals. Dortmund is going with 2. 4-2. Yes. 4-2. I'm a Barca fan, but I don't have to be by heart. Then let's go to Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, right? Bayern Munich, this is 50-50. This is 50. You can't take away Inter Milan at this point. So it's going to be 50-50 for Bayern Munich and Inter Milan. So I will say first leg can be draw. Yeah, first leg is going to be draw. First leg. I am sure of this one. First leg, Bayern Munich and Inter Milan. Then let me come back to Arsenal and Real Madrid. By the grace of Real Madrid in Champions League, Arsenal cannot stand Real Madrid. Yes, but by football standard, you can't come and win football with mouth. Yes, we don't win football with mouth. I remember last season, just that I actually fucked up. Last season, Arsenal beat Bayern Munich. Arsenal actually played first leg. They played. I was even surprised because I was not expecting Arsenal to play Bayern Munich that way. If Arsenal will keep up that with Real Madrid, they can come out and then something will come out of it. But in Real Madrid now, we have Rodrigo, we have Cavajan, we have Mbappe, we have Modric, we have Valverde. In fact, I don't even know where to come in this matter. Where to come in. It's like all Arsenal fans, they need to go and pray very well and fast for them to win Real Madrid in this leg because but then I'll still give them 50-50. Sincerely, I will give them 50-50 because you can't say sometimes, these Arsenal boys, this Trossard, Saliba, Odiga, and all that. Sometimes there are some games that they just come up and they play their best.
All right,
yes,
thank you.
They give him their all. There are some games like that, they give him their all. So I can't say I'm going to give them 50-50.
All right, thank you so much. We have a caller.
I think I just want to read in on this Champions League fixtures of the field. And I think from what the last speaker said, I think we belong to the same school of thought. I don't see us now having any chance in this Champions League, frankly speaking. And but then I think if I'm asked, I would rather prefer an Aston Villa to probably even get to the final, though we can't see what Paris can do. But then in all of these fixtures, I'm seeing PSG, Bayern Munich in the final of the Champions League. Or probably, let me see, that's what I would love to see. Love to see the final, PSG, Bayern Munich, but not Arsenal. Thank you.
It shows you. Right. It shows you somebody who is not who doesn't like Arsenal. He doesn't like Arsenal. I say anybody but Arsenal. It just shows you that he's not speaking from his footballing angle. And people forget quickly. This is how Arsenal was written off. Yes, maybe on paper, Madrid is the better side because of the players that they have and what they are doing right now. But people forgot, or people have forgotten. In 2005-06 Champions League, the Arsenal got to the final. Arsenal played Real Madrid with the same Galacticos, defeated Madrid in Madrid's home, and then went back to Arsenal to play a 0-0 draw and qualified for the semi-final, also beating Villarreal with the same scoreline. So, football on paper is set in stone. Do you understand me? Who would have thought that Aston Villa will be playing the quarterfinals and they're playing, and somebody's already writing them off against Paris Saint-Germain because you think because they are Aston Villa, they are number 8, they would not make it to the finals or what have you. So football is not set in stone. Like Dr. Isu said, 4 of them that were at the top 8 are out. So why didn't they kick out those that came through playoff? Football is not 2+2. Football is what you can do on the field at that time. If you have a Madrid team playing well on the day, they can have the day. But if I have an Arsenal team playing well on the day, they can have the day for that day. And for my sister, my Jegunle sister, that's her happiness. I know she does not know I'm from Ajegunle. Yes, I'm from Ajegunle. When she wanted to talk about Arsenal and Madrid, she was scared. Don't be afraid. Like you say, put your mouth where your money is. Ajegunle, you need a fear. Put your mouth where your money is. So, but I believe the quarterfinal is going to be one that will be talked about for a very long time because UEFA did a very good job, like Dr. Ezu say, by not allowing people just come and walk over some teams and go to the semi-finals, quarterfinals. Now you play, there's this home factor where if I play you in your home, you tell me when I come to your home I will deal with you. And that what happened to Liverpool, they were so sure that when they get to their home they were going to do and undo. Do you understand me? And it didn't work that way for them. So I like what UEFA had done. You don't rest on playing just on your home front. You also go away and see how you can get results to qualify for the top 8.
All right, thank you. So, Raphael, just in 1 minute, let me get your predictions for the quarterfinal first leg. Having in mind that Dortmund was in the semi-final last edition was in the final, and now they are up against Barcelona. Do you think they will triumph over Barcelona?
Dortmund-Barcelona is going to be a very tight game. Mind you, the Dortmund team won their last game away against Lille. And when they even played, before they played Lille, they played a particular team. I think it was Feyenoord, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it's not a game you want to watch. It was just nowhere, neither here nor there. Maybe because they've won their first leg in Feyenoord, so they didn't need to put in so much energy like Arsenal did. But for the quarterfinal, is a do or die affair. I say it now. I've gotten to that stage, like Dr. Isu said, separating the men from the boys. So at this point in time, and then you have a Yamin Lamar who is doing so well. Rafinha is doing so well. Lewandowski is up and doing. With all the way PSG is building a team without superstars, that's how you have Barcelona also building a team. You see some boys, you don't even know their name from anywhere, but what they bring on the field is more than what you have behind your back as your name. So that game is going to be a very dicey one, but I'm also giving it to Barca, either we like it or not. I'm not a Barca fan, but I see them going, getting one ahead of Borussia Dortmund.
All right, thank you so much. This is the much we can take on today's edition. We're so grateful to all of our guests, most especially Mr. Raphael here in the studio. Thank you for making time to be here with us in the studio. Thank you to our guests online. We have Happiness joining us for the first time. Thank you, Happiness, for making time to be on the show this morning. Also, thanks to Dr. Izu for equally being on the show this morning. We're so sorry we couldn't have much of your analysis on today's show. Well, thank you for finding time to be on this show. Michael Anko, any last word before I say thank you?
So much has been said, but as the Arsenal fans that I am myself, no matter what anybody said, Arsenal is going and we will get there.
All right, let's see how far Arsenal goes in the UEFA Champions League, if they will try off over Real Madrid. And thank you so much, dear viewer, for making our time to watch us and follow through. Thank you to our callers who called in, Pastor Chris, Eze, and the other caller. We thank you for calling into the show this morning. And but till we find much more time to discuss more sport issues, until we come your way again on next edition, keep watching ACNN TV. Download the Avo TV app, download the Limes ACNN app, and every other app that you can get from Limes and Net Nigeria. Download those apps, follow us on our social media handles, and equally send in your comments on our phone number showing on your screen. And at any point in time, we'll take your comments. Thank you for being part of the show. Until we come your way again next time, I will say bye bye from here.